Fake it till you make it. Simply put, faking something until you are something. And this concept, when put into anime, I love. But there's a problem. There is barely any anime out there with this concept. Now, before deciding to make this video, I really thought this was abundant in anime. So I was going to show a lot of anime that were fake it till you make it anime to get others to understand the greatness of this concept. But after searching through all the anime I've ever watched, which is a lot, I was only able to find about 4 anime that were people faking it until they made it. So instead, I decided to explain the concept, so if anyone knows any anime that fits this description, they can let me know so I have more anime to watch. So with that covered, let's discuss what it means to fake it till you make it. Okay. Faking it till you make it is to deliberately cultivate an attitude of competence, confidence, optimism, or positive mindset that you do not currently have until it becomes true. But what does that mean in the plot of an anime? To break it down, I created 3 rules to make the concept more definable. First off, the MC must have no idea what's actually going on, yet pretends to know what's up. But they luck out and everything they do works out perfectly. Now, this in its core is the fake it part. They are pretending to either be strong enough that they can't be defeated, knowledgeable in everything that's going on around them, or kind enough to help the people out of the goodness of their hearts, for example. But everything they're saying is just hot air, and they know it. Yet somehow it works out perfectly for them, as if fate itself has come down to grace their every action with perfect luck, no matter what. And even if the things they're doing are selfish or the delusions of what's happening are not true, everything has to happen as if what they're faking is real. And to make this clear, they can't actually be smart. If they are purposefully doing everything, then it works out. That's just a normal anime. They have to accidentally have everything work out perfectly. So that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and shows like that don't count because he's actually a good leader. For rule number 2, this one is less of a rule but more of a pattern I see in these anime. Someone's gotta be greasing up the MC, because the side characters think the MC is always such a genius. Of course they'd come up with this ingenious and convoluted plan. But again, they just lucked into said plan. And again, this feeds into the fake it part. When the person greases them up, it's usually because from an outsider's perspective, it looks like the MC is a genius. So when someone is greasing them up, it just shows how effectively they are faking it. But I just found it funny that this part came up a lot. And for the final rule, they have to make it. It wouldn't be fake it till you make it without someone actually making it. Like the lesson in the title, try to pay attention a bit more. But yeah, in the end, there has to be an event that they take everything that they learned from faking it and actually succeed in the way that everyone thinks they should succeed. But for reals this time, they truly have to live up to everyone's expectations come the end. But yeah, those are just rules that I come up with, and hopefully that's enough to understand the concept. But in the event it's not, let's cover some samples, shall we? For the first example, we got Tear Moon Empire. I feel this anime truly fits the description the most, so I'll be talking about it first. For a quick explanation of the plot, just in case you don't know about this anime, basically it's the regression of Marie Antoinette, the let them eat cake queen. So Mia the MC is a terrible ruler that gets beheaded in a revolution for being a terrible leader. She then wakes up as her younger self and is determined not to be beheaded again. It's an amazing plot as is, but throwing in the fake it till you make it stuff really takes it up a notch. And because she died before because she was an idiot and a bad ruler, dying wouldn't magically make her a better one, so she has to fake being a good ruler. So none of the action she does is actually to better the kingdom, but instead to save her own hide in the event a revolution does happen. Like, she learns to ride a horse so she can more easily escape. She becomes the girlfriend of a prince from a nation that has a well-positioned military force. And sure, she does sometimes do good things for the kingdom, like build a hospital in the slums, though the only reason she does this is because she knows that there's going to be a pandemic in the future. So she tries to save herself with every action, but always makes things better. So her actions seem to be amazing and pure, so everyone starts respecting her. But really, none of her intentions or thoughts ever line up with what's outwardly perceived, which is why it easily hits rule number 1. For rule number 2, everyone and their mother's uncle is always praising her. No matter what, everyone misunderstands her intentions and calls her the wisdom of the empire, making all of her intentions seem way better than they actually are. And for the final rule, in the end, there was a conspiracy to create a coup in her boyfriend's kingdom, but she manages to stop it. And for reals this time. This time she actually figured everything out. Like, she wasn't just doing random stuff, then everyone misunderstood her, but she knew what was going on. And in that event, when she finally figured everything out, she finally made it. This is one that more people probably know about, Overlord. And because everyone probably knows about this one, I won't explain the plot. But he's just some dude put in the place of an overlord. He's faking his role as an overlord in order to seem powerful for his lackeys. Look, I'm gonna be real with y'all for a sec. I watched this anime a while ago. There are 4 seasons, and I don't fully remember too many specific examples of how the show works. But what I do remember, and what is important to this talk, is the butler Demiurge. Their interactions are the fake it till you make it aspects shown perfectly. Ainz is always doing stuff on his own whim, but Demiurge is always greasing him up. Ainz's plans always work out perfectly, even if he didn't mean for them to. So Demiurge comes up and is like, "Don't worry, I saw through your secret plan that is amazing and also awesome. Would you like me to explain it to everyone so they can understand?" And of course, Ainz is like, I got no clue what secret plan he's yapping about, so Ainz tells him to explain it. This hits both Rule 2 with the Greaser and Rule 1 with EMC inadvertently doing good work. And for the make it part, Ainz is straight up OP. He proves his position as the Overlord by bodying any threat that comes his way no matter what. So this anime easily hits all the rules perfectly, and the whole sequence with Demiurge and Ainz is a perfect example of this concept. For another one everyone hopefully knows is the Eminence in Shadow. Basically, Sid wants to have fun, and for there to be a major plot going on in the world so he can have his isekai dreams come true. So he decides to make stuff up and create a plot of his own. So he pretends to be the Eminence in Shadow, making things up like the Coach Diablo. I mean, how could that be real? But everything he makes up is actually true. So he's faking a real plot while he's practically clueless, yet right on the mark of what's actually going on. He's faking what is real. To that note, every person that he destroys and every action that he does to further his own idea of the plot actually changes the real plot. A lot of the times he's wrong about something, like talking about making the princess an evil tyrant, so then he does things to make his visions happen, but then affects the real plot in a way that makes everyone impressed. This happens with the whole money thing, where he has an idea of what's going on, but is completely wrong and has someone who thinks he knows what's going on explain it back to him. And the entirety of Shadow Garden is always greasing him to oblivion. And of course he is insanely OP, so anything he does causes massive ripples in the true plot. So even if he doesn't know what's actually for reals happening, he segments himself as Lord Shadow by beating everyone up. And for the 4th one, we have the Vexations of a Shun Vampire Princess. For the plot, because this one is lesser known, Terakomori, a vampire, is placed into the position of a Crimson Lord. And those guys need to be strong. She pretends to be the strongest Crimson Lord of them all, yet she is super weak. The weakest vampire, actually. Luckily for her, her army loves her and treats her like an idol, so they mostly destroy everyone for her so she looks like she's actually the strongest. Though sometimes her army can't help, and in those cases she wins with luck, or her maid, who also loves her, rigs her fights so she can win. And of course her army and her maid are constantly praising her for being the strongest and the best there is, despite her not being that. So that hits rule number 2. For when she finally makes it, it turns out she's actually not the weakest, but brainwashed into being the weakest because she's actually the strongest. So when the real bad guys come, she lays waste to them all. But it still counts as her faking it and not actually being strong because she herself didn't know how OP she was for most of the anime. Sadly though, that's all I could think of to fit this concept. I really love these types of anime, but there simply aren't enough of them. So if you know any other anime that are like these, let me know so I have more anime to watch. Here are the 4 anime that I talked about again on screen in case you forgot. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can subscribe if you want to. But anyways, I'm Mayanoli and bye bye.